Hey guys, thanks for watching this week's episode of Break the Glass, where we're going to talk about sangria. I thought we'd mix it up, talk about something a little bit more fun and random. I really love sangria, so I've been excited about this episode. I don't know if you guys have had sangria or not before, but sangria goes way back to like ancient Spanish times, and the idea of it is that it's this concoction of liquids and ingredients, and you're just supposed to get everything from your kitchen. So what do you have lying around? Put it into this mixture, and then that's what sangria is made out of. Wine's definitely going to be the base of it, but then the ingredients that make the flavor, like whatever you got lying around the kitchen, as long as it would be good together, it should be good to go. Sangria is like the salad of wines. It's just like this mixture of things, and there's also usually fruit in it, so that makes it healthy like a salad, right? Because I think so. And you can have sangria like any way you want. It could be a red sangria, white, rosé, bubbly, seriously, however you want it. Throw the stuff in there, you should be good to go. I also think sangria is a great intro to wine for people that don't necessarily love wine. You don't really love wine, but you make it a little bit sweeter, put some syrup in it, some sugar, some fruit. And I think, you might have someone that might turn around to wine because of sangria. For example, my mom, she didn't drink red wine ever. And then I gave her a glass of some red sangria, and she really liked it. And now she drinks red wine. I don't know if it's because of sangria or not, but I'm gonna pretend it is at least. So yeah, let's talk about how it started. So sangria goes all the way back to the ancient Romans and Greeks. So back then, they couldn't drink like regular water because it was so polluted and dirty. And so their way to keep hydrated was that they made this concoction of sorts. It was kind of like a mulled wine. It had spices and sugars in it, and then they put alcohol in it to make it bearable and feel better to drink. And so thus the first sangria. And then the Spanish saw what they were doing. They really honed in on sangria though, and they used it as a nice refreshing drink to have, and they would make it with a wine base, and then you'd put whatever is lying around in the kitchen in it. And then also sangria literally means blood in Spanish, that's the word for blood in Spanish, and so it's meant to traditionally be a red wine. The Spanish also just really love red wine. They love big Tempranillos, they love their Riojas, and so why stop there? Of course they're gonna, sangria is traditionally red, but these days it can be made of anything. It can be made of, like I said earlier, rosé, bubbly, white, red. Today we're gonna do a white and a red. Try both of them, and then just remember, have fun with it. Whatever ingredients you have lying around in the kitchen, throw it all in there. It should be super yummy. So today we're gonna make two different types of sangrias. We're just gonna make a white and then a red. So let's start off with the white. So with white sangrias, I really like using Viognier. It's a white wine from France, and it's just a really nice, round, subtle white wine. I think it takes flavors on really well. A Chardonnay would do the same thing. A Chardonnay would be a great sangria wine. You're putting in all this fruit into it. You want it to, mix well with the flavors. So I think Viognier is perfect for that. It's a 2019, so it's super young. It was also only $9, so that's kind of why I picked it as well. When I'm making something like sangria, or even if you're making mimosas, you don't need to spend a ton of money on the bottle of wine, just because you're not going to really totally get the flavor of it anyways, because you're putting all of these things into it. Yeah, so for the white, the base is the Viognier, and I'm just using this little blender thing that that we have. Viognier, and then I also put Brandy in my white sangria. Might have been a lot of Brandy. And then also gonna put in some simple syrup and blackberries. All of these guys are gonna go right in there. Pomegranate seeds. And then some lemon juice. And then you just mix it up a little bit. Feel free to squish the fruit, and then should be good to go. Except you want it to sit overnight so the flavors can kind of like all get to know each other. So last night we made some sangria. I accidentally put strawberries in this last night, which is why it looks like a rosé sangria, but I swear it was the same thing. Everything else was the same. And so I haven't tried it yet since last night. It smells amazing. We also like went a little rogue and put in mint leaves from our patio that we have out there. It smells insane. I'm like so excited to drink this. It's so good. It doesn't really taste like wine that much. It tastes like I can taste the strawberries for sure. I can taste like, I think the Viognier makes it like, gives us this nice like creamy flavor to it. So I do really like that we put that in there for it. I taste the lemon juice. I don't taste the brandy, so that's good. And then I think adding that little bit of simple syrup just sweetens it up enough as well. But this is amazing. So now we're gonna make my personal favorite red sangria. I remember the first time I had red sangria, I was in Montreal. We were at this Harry Potter themed bar, and their red sangria was like the most amazing thing ever. The waitress came over and we were like, what do you recommend for cocktails? And she said the red sangria, and I like totally understand why. It was absolutely insane, and so that's why I get so excited about sangria now. And I try to make mine just like they make theirs as well. So what I use is Beaujolais. That's gonna be like the red wine base. Beaujolais is just like a young, fresh, bright, juicy, fruit-forward, unoaked red wine. It's just like really uplifting, juicy, in your face, fun. It's so good. So I think that's why it's a really good red wine base. It's also like really inexpensive too. So another reason I love Beaujolais for sangria. This guy was like $10. So yeah, so I always use Beaujolais for my red sangria. I'm like really picky about that. I think it's like the best one. Beaujolais is from France. It's from, it's a little like sub-region within Burgundy. So we're gonna put the rest of that in there. And then you're also gonna put in more brandy. I'll try to do a smaller portion this time. That's probably better. And then some berry tea as well. So this is like ever so slightly sweetened, so I think it's like a nice tea to put in there. It just gives like a nice berry flavor. It's gonna be so good. And then I made this hibiscus syrup last night. So I just like infuse a bunch of like hibiscus tea with hot water, and gives it like another like nice tea flavor. And then, yeah, and then all these oranges. And the strawberries. And then that's red sangria. Let's muddle it around a little bit. Let it sit in the fridge overnight, and then it should be good to go. I really love red sangria for Christmas. I always make it like every Christmas for my family, and it's like a huge hit. So now let's try the one that sat overnight. Wow, like look at these oranges. They're just like so pretty. They're like soaked in the red wine. It smells like Christmas. It smells really good. I love that so much. I think the Beaujolais just kind of like mellows it out a lot. Like it's a lot of fruit in here, right? It could be super acidic, really high toned. I think the red wine, I think that really totally like mellows it down. The berry tea is a nice touch as well. The hibiscus, I can totally taste the hibiscus. I think that's like my favorite thing that I like try to make sure I always put in my red sangria. Like brew some hibiscus tea and then put it in there. It's gonna be amazing. I don't taste the brandy, so that's good. But yeah, I love red sangria so much. So that's just how I like to make sangria. But like I said, it's totally just meant to be like a concoction of things that you have, you know, left over or in your kitchen. Usually there's like a wine base, some fruit, you got some like teas or herbs, that'll be nice. Brandy always goes well nicely in it as well. So yeah, that's how I make mine. And the holidays are coming up soon, so I think that you guys have tons of excuses to make sangria. It's like super festive, really fun, total crowd pleaser. Like if you don't know what to bring somewhere, you can always like make sangria and people are gonna absolutely love it. And make sure it sits overnight, put it in the fridge, let the flavors get to know each other. And then also you gotta like make sure that you eat the fruit because the fruit is like soaked up in alcohol and it's so good and it's so yummy and you just like can't forget about it. Well, cheers guys.